All right, everybody, it's 420. You know what that means. It's National High Time. Time to get your smoking utensils out and spark up.
You are now
Tuned in to the
420
Collaboration
podcast.
Hey, and welcome to 420 Collaboration Podcast. I am Zeno, and that's Jake, and we are with Jennifer Gilbert.
Hi.
Hey, Jen, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for
I'm
joining us
good.
today, Jen. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's just jump right in it. So can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do and your prediction for the cannabis industry.
So I'm 29 and I'm a personal caregiver, primary. I have been for 16 years coming this September, and I've been growing since December of 2016. I also work for a grow facility in Western Mass, and I absolutely love it. As far as future cannabis, I think that there's a lot to educate the people on, and instead of a stigma being on cannabis, to educate and just get out there as much knowledge as you can.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Instead of,
Absolutely.
people just going off of, oh my God, the devil's lettuce. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's so much more to it. The terpene profiles, the things that they need.
Or just doing your own research,
Yes,
don't take
research.
don't take somebody else's word.
You said you work at a grow facility.
Yes.
What do you guys like? What are you guys known for there? Anything in particular?
So, I mean, right now we have our famous Lucinda Williams, and she is known after, I think she's like a country folk artist, and she has this very florally smell to her, and she's just a really uplifting high, and she's just really great for people with like social anxiety, and it's just
Okay.
perfect. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And my new favorite
Cool.
Yeah,
is the Leroy OG. And it's
Of
perfect
course.
for my time. Yes.
So, with that being said,
really?
are you an indica fan or a sativa fan?
I am a hybrid, an indica leaning hybrid fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, and that shows you that there's a different taste for every kind of person out there.
Yes,
Like
they're
me
definitely.
personally, I'm an indica smoker. My wife back here behind me, she's a sativa smoker. And she prefers the indica at the nighttime, and using it at the right appropriate time so that it can help her sleep or whatever it is that she's doing.
Exactly. So you can comfortably move throughout your day and be productive as well.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We don't need to be a louse around here.
No.
You're talking about your famous cultivar that you guys are in the works of growing or what have you. Is that a sativa leaning plant?
So the Lucinda Williams,
Yeah.
I think I am unsure at the moment because I've been like all over the place because of the COVID. It's been making me anxious.
Definitely.
I'm unsure of right now, but I think it's a sativa dominant.
Very cool.
Yes.
I've worked on a lot of projects that are sativa dominant, and I've noticed that they're a lot of fun to grow, but they take a long time. You know what I mean? You just have to be patient. I grew a Jack Herrera back in the day from Jack Herrera, and that was a 14-week flowered plant. You know what I mean? Like, took forever.
Yes.
What was the yield like?
Oh, I was pulling about 2.5 pounds of light.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sativas are known for crushing it. You know what I mean? Like, if you just, of course, I feel like, anybody that puts the time and effort into their cultivars definitely will provide you with like what you're looking for. I mean,
definitely. What you put in is definitely what you're going to get out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is all I fucking ask. I hate when people send me a text and they're asking me for advice and they're like, hey, what's the easy way to grow pounds?
I know they're really, it's really trial and error. You know, everybody has a different method to grow. You know, what may work for you may not work for somebody else.
Right.
You know, you need
Absolutely.
to have books,
Yes.
you need to have a Bible, you know, a diary. I think it's very important for every grower to have a diary. What works
Don't
for
be a pussy and be afraid of the word fucking diary, people. I've got
exactly.
so
Exactly.
many of them.
It doesn't
So
mean
many.
Yeah,
you don't
I'm
have to
not
put it
that.
under your pillow. Doesn't mean
Oh
that.
my God. Yeah. So I'm just saying that right now to all you fucking
I'm telling.
people out there that are like, I'm too
Hold on,
manly to
hold on,
write a
hold on.
diary.
Yeah.
Right, to make you feel comfortable or whatever. But like in the end, it's
There
still
you
the
go.
same goddamn
You're right. You're
thing.
writing in your journal.
The fucking book. Remember on the first episode, we talked
No,
about
that-
a book and how people need to read them and educate themselves.
Yes, definitely.
Same
And even
thing.
like classes, like most people will think it's stupid, but I've taken so many classes. Like I feel like there's no cap to knowledge. Like once you tell yourself, I know everything, that's when you stop yourself from the ability to learn. And I really feel like that's a downfall in the industry when everyone's like, yeah, I know everything. You don't.
Right. No,
There's
absolutely.
everything. There's new
Ah.
terpenes. There's new everything every single day. There's new strains. You know what I mean? Like
I
there's
agree
new genetics. There's
100%.
everything.
Preach.
Yeah.
Like that is 100%.
Preach it.
Yeah,
Preach it.
100% correct, because it's you know, it's very condescending when, you know, people assume that like their way is the only way or their way is the ultimate way or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I've grown for the better half of 14, 15 years, and I have never once thought that this is the ultimate way of growing,
Yeah.
no matter what. But that leads me to my next
Yeah,
question for
everybody
you
has-
guys, and that's cloning. So you guys like to clone. I would assume some of your breadwinners or your favorite cultivars. Is there any cultivars that you specifically like to take cuts of and like to watch them root right before your eyes?
So my new one that I just took is Rosetta Stone.
That is an amazing cultivar.
Yes. I
That sounds awesome.
absolutely love her.
That is
She
an
is
amazing
taste?
cultivar.
stunning.
What's the taste like?
Honestly, I don't know because it's very difficult. Like sometimes she has like a sour pineapple smell,
Okay.
and then sometimes she has like I don't want to say like a cheesy,
Right.
but
But
it's
you've got my interest.
yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
So I think it's about time to get
He's-
tested.
he's the
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yes.
we've got some friends over at the CGA in Massachusetts that you should reach out to, and maybe we can link you guys up.
Yeah, the
And
Cannabis Growers Association.
absolutely, they're
Yes,
good,
yeah.
close friends of mine. They're good people. You should definitely run some tests by them. Maybe get some numbers out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
definitely. That would be awesome.
I don't care about any of the THC or CBD stuff. I care about those
because
terpenes.
that's-
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. Because most people are like, "Oh my God, I want stuff with a high THC." They don't pay attention to the terpenes.
Right.
And the terpenes is where it's at.
Absolutely. I care
Yeah.
about that flavor.
This
I care
is a
about what
gold
the effect
interview.
is.
This is gold.
Absolutely.
This is
I
gold.
think
This is what
great.
this is why we started this 420 collaboration podcast, is to try to get the stigma out of there. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You are hitting the nail on the head. Every single word that comes out of your mouth is exactly how we feel.
Right. No, absolutely. And it's so awesome because like I'm not an East Coast person, right? Not to say that against the East Coast. I've been there.
Yeah.
But I'm predominantly a West Coast person, right? Like so it's so cool to have the same thought processes as individuals that are on the East Coast about this plant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. And that
Yeah.
that brings me to my next question for you, which is what are some things as a grower that you look for in a plant? Like what tells you that this plant's going to be fucking killer? You know what I mean?
So I look for a lot of things. I look for the physical attributes. I look for good genetics. Good genetics is where it's at.
You heard it
It's very
first.
difficult, I will say. And I prefer to grow from seed, just because I like what you were saying on your video, how you can pop a million seeds. You really want to find that good plant with the good genetics, the one that grows strong
Right.
and that has, the really close nodes, depending on whether it's an indica or a sativa or a hybrid. You want the nodes to be close. You want the bud structure to be great. You want the terpene profile to be beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you can find genetics that are mold resistant and stuff like that, like that's great. You know what I mean? And things that are adaptable to temperature and, pest resistant. That's great too. But,
Especially in New England.
yeah,
Right.
we have some of those
Outdoor
issues.
growing. Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have the ideal season, if you will. It could
Right.
rain, it could snow, it could be sunny, it could be cloudy, sunny, rainy, all at the same time. That has actually happened. I've witnessed it.
Yeah, I
Last
was
year I had 2 plants that made it through 3 frosts. I ended up calling it frostbite. It was so good.
that's
I had
awesome.
everybody lit as shit. Like
Do you still have that?
I do not.
Yeah.
I kept it for about
Oh.
6 months. It was so good.
Oh man, I was gonna say I'm working on a project right now, and the name of the cultivar that I have named it is called Frostitute, and that would sound like an
That sounds
awesome cross.
Ah!
Oh man, that would have been amazing. That's okay. I'll stay on the hunt though. You let me know if you
yeah.
get a cross monster.
I will. I definitely will.
I'm getting a
Yeah.
cut from your neck of the woods here soon. I'm getting it um, delivered to me here shortly, and it's called Mobsta to
Wow.
Mazar and something else cross. And I'm super excited to play with that because from what I hear, the bag appeal is phenomenal. I hear that the smells are great and the structure is awesome. So I hope that I can cross that with a reverse totem that I'm working on right now.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
And I guess that leads us into the next question. How did you get into this industry?
So, funny story, and I'd hate to say the 4-letter word, but it all started where my mom had asked me to garden back in, years ago, and I didn't really like it. And in 2011, my mom's mother had passed, and, she had asked me to garden with her, and I said, you know what, Mom? Yes, I would love to garden with you. So ever since then, I had kind of taken a liking to gardening with flowers and stuff like that, vegetables, And in 2016, my friend said to me, would you like to try and grow marijuana? And I said, well, I tried behind the dryer before, and that didn't work too well. I got them to be about that tall, and then they died because I was nervous I'd get caught. We were always in hiding. So I ended up trying. They were all 4 of them, all female. And they were so beautiful. I took pictures every single day, morning and night. I swear to God, they were changing. So I ended up feeling what my mom felt for the love of gardening.
Right.
And I realized that was my passion. The joy that I saw in her face was how I felt and how she felt years ago. So she ended up passing, and now I use her room to create new life, that just because it's an ending, it's a brand new start.
That's beautiful. I
Yeah.
think that's awesome.
Wow.
I definitely
Seriously, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I definitely see growing this plant as very therapeutic. It is something that has helped me personally when I suffered from PTSD. And it helps teach me that new life is an amazing thing and to be excited about stuff. And that's why I have the excitement that I have in my voice that you guys always love and hear. But it's such an amazing quality, right? It's such an amazing appreciation for the plant, and I feel like the plant rewards you even more because of that. You know what I mean? Because you're giving that kind of love in. I mean, for fuck's sakes, my wife will even go into my garden and like sing to these plants when we're turning on the lights or when we're feeding them or whatever. And she's talking to them, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And they're talking back. You know what I mean? They're growing up. They're doing their thing.
They're dancing. You know, like,
Absolutely.
oh my God, we're getting human contact. We love it. And what else,
Absolutely.
I forget what it is because I'm having such a great time. But what we humans breathe off, the plants love that.
Carbon dioxide.
Yes, they love that.
Carbon dioxide.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So everything that we
They
give,
do.
they're like humans. You know, they tell us what we
Absolutely.
need if there's a deficiency, if there's pH fluctuations, everything. They tell us what they need. They tell us what they want.
That's it. It's a living, breathing thing.
Yeah.
And so here's a question that you've been asked, I'm sure, because I get asked this every day almost. What's your favorite cultivar as of right now?
I love Sweet Tooth. And that's
Okay.
straight indica. Yeah.
I remember Sweet Tooth when it started like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. I remember one of the original growers for that had gifted that to me, and I took it with me up to Humboldt, and I grew the ever-living shit out of that. Was easily one of my favorite cultivars to play with. It was something like a 63-day flower time. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm about flower time. That's my thing.
Yeah, I know it. I don't really care about anything other than the end result, right? Like I care about how the flavors are looking, how the plant reacts to different things. Like right now, I'm stressing the shit out of 6 different cultivars to try to see what's going to be next. You know what I mean? Like who can deal with my bullshit? Because if you can deal with my shit, then I know that you can deal with everybody else's shit, because I'm not nearly as mean as some of you guys out there to your plants. And last question for me really that I've got for you is what's on the horizons for you? What's something that you want to practice into your own repertoire of education so far?
So I think I'm going to answer this properly, but what I look forward to is my dream is to, when clones become available to sell, I would like to open up a nursery for vets, medical, and recreational people so that they can come get them, because planting by seed and sometimes by clone is difficult for them. And, you know, having them be able to come and purchase them would be so much easier for them. And for them to come and pick up a plant, like to see the joy on their face, knowing that, oh my God, I don't have to be careful with the seed, or, you know, stuff like that. So that's my dream.
I think that's perfect. That's exactly what I was asking you. You know, like, and everybody that's listening right now, you better start getting ready to look out for that brick and mortar store. You know what I mean? Like, this is literally the time. Start grinding, get it out, talk to the people that gotta be, the powers that be, you know what I mean, and make that happen. As much passion as you have into this plant, like put into the community, and it'll pay you back just as much.
Definitely. I feel like talking to a whole bunch of people is amazing. And one of the most amazing individuals I've ever met so far is Danny Danko. I had the pleasure of meeting him, and he's where I've learned a lot very quickly in one class. I met him through a friend, and he had met he had taught the first class, and he signed a book, and it was awesome. He went through his whole entire book, the whole entire chapter, everything. And
that's awesome.
I was so excited. By the time the class was over with, my face felt like it was stuck. Like I was smiling through the whole entire thing. I was like, this is awesome.
And you got that from an educational class, people.
Yes.
An educational class. That means go to school. And that doesn't mean high school. That just means learn something. You can't lose an education, you know what I mean? But you can lose your fucking money and your mind and a whole bunch of other stuff. So gain that education, you know what I mean? Like, build that up, people, because that's all you got.
Especially if you bounce around.
Right.
When you bounce around from different YouTube channels or different books and stuff like that. I mean, it's okay at first to, do research. Everybody does. You want to, type away. But at some point, you have to break away and start making your own way of growing. You take all the knowledge that you've learned and you put it into use. And that's what makes all of us growers and breeders unique.
Exactly.
Well, I think it's a really important thing, like, to know that it's okay to make mistakes with your plants. Like,
oh, definitely, because if you don't learn from your mistakes, then you're never going to learn.
thank you. Like,
That's it.
have you had a, let's not call it a bad harvest, right? But let's say, have you had a less than stellar harvest, learned from that mistake, and then the following harvest crushed it?
Yes, I've had root lockout.
See?
It scared me.
And you learn from that experience, and then now you're fucking killing it. And that's the same steps that everybody needs to take, guys. There's no shortcut. There's no trick. It's just putting the time in, putting the work in, and loving what you're doing. It's okay to be frustrated. I'm mad at my plants quite often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I call them names. I do all sorts of things.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, they still get fed.
Way more from you.
Right? Like, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I've got a couple of them where I pulled
all
short
money
deals.
I spent there.
As people, meaning other people who just pop seed, and just keep going. Like,
right.
They're not, pennies. They're not pairs of underwear. Respect the plant.
It's biology. Like, not every one of them is going to be perfect, and everything is unique in its own way. My wife and I have this discussion quite often, where it's, everybody is unique in your own personal way, and you're allowed to love and respect that for what it is. And you got to do the same thing with these plants. Like, I've got a couple of totems that are being a little finicky right now with the organics that I'm feeding it. And so I just backed off and let it be for a couple of days. And now they're just bouncing back, and they're like, oh, this is what it's like. You know what I mean? Like, I missed this.
Yeah, like, they never even got hurt. It's like,
right.
Yeah, they bounced.
Yeah, nothing happened. So it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind if people buy seeds and they pop them all over the place, but don't when someone posts in the group or someone asks a question, hey, I'm growing Blue Dream. I know each pheno was different, but I'm having this problem. What everybody knows. And then he'll come along and troll on the comment post and be like, oh, yeah, no, that sucks. I grew that strain, blah, 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 blah. But he really didn't. He just popped the seed. It did what it did, and that's it,
Right.
Yeah. And what somebody grows, necessarily, if you get a seed from somebody else and somebody else grabs that same seed by them, it doesn't mean that it's going to grow the same way.
No, absolutely not.
It's going to, but it may not, which is why people prefer clones over seed.
Right. Well, it's like the three of us right here are all good stellar growers. Like, I have full confidence that all three of us could fucking light up a room like no other.
Definitely.
But I could grab a pack of my seeds right now, right? Like, let's see here. I've got totems. Nice. Got some totems, right? I could send you a pack of these seeds. I could send Zeno a pack of these seeds, and I could pop a pack of these seeds. And we're all using different lights, so we're going to get different results. We're all using different materials, so we're going to get different results. And we're in different environments. The barometric pressure is different where I live compared to where you guys live. Definitely. And that affects your plants, you know what I mean? And guys, you got to take that into consideration. It's just because it's not in the tent, you don't see it right there, does not mean it does not affect that plant.
Yeah, just because it's controlled in a tent doesn't mean that it's controlled in the actual, like, area where you are.
Right. Yeah. We're talking about an atmosphere. Can you see your atmosphere?
I know,
Absolutely
right?
not.
Like those mornings you wake up and it's like super cold or whatever the temperatures are in California. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you for having us or for joining us in today, and I appreciate the conversation. I'd love to get a pack of these totems out to you. If you're able to grow them, let me know. Send me a
Definitely,
message,
definitely.
connect with me through Zeno, and I'll get something out to you guys. All right?
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us.
Yes.
We appreciate it. And we look forward to having you on maybe a couple months down the road. See what you're into. See if you got those totem seeds.
Oh, you know I will.
Absolutely.
And I'll
So,
definitely have pictures because we love pictures.
I love them too.
Yeah.
Of course. Share them in the groups and everything like that. Share them with us so we can show,
Definitely.
the audience. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be.
So, thank you for tuning in to
420
Collaboration.
Podcast.